This is my advent calendar and I'm so excited. It is sure looking cute. I'm going to show you how to make the pocket for our advent calendar. Okay, so this is the fabric line called Cup of Cheer by Kimberbell, and I'm using this today because it's got such cute colors and it's bright and festive and it's a little different than the normal. Let's see if I can fix our angle a little better. How's that? Than the normal Christmas print, and I'm like that. So this actually came in my Fat Quarter Shop holiday box with a specific pattern in mind for this fabric. Honestly, it's cute, but I think I could use any fabric with that pattern, and I really like the idea of using this fabric on my advent calendar. You can use whatever you want, but I thought I'd explain where I got this from in case you also got the holiday box and had these hanging out. So you're going to get 2 packages of this Cup of Cheer, okay, and you're also going to get a panel when you get it from the Fat Quarter Shop. Now the panel has 4 large squares, which is what these are, or 3 of, and then there's a couple other little pieces to it, and I have gone ahead and cut everything out. So these are like a label size, and these are just a cute little, I don't know what you call it, but they're cute. And then there's a couple words that, sentences that were running down the side of it. It's just a small panel, and unfortunately I cut it up before I took any pictures of it. So you can also see this by looking at my Fat Quarter Holly box opening. But we're going to put these pieces aside. We're not so worried about the panel. Just wanted you to know we're going to use all these things. Now, what I want you to do is, these are a 5x5 square. We're going to pair it up with a 5x10 inch strip. And then with each of those, we're going to make sets. We're going to sew them together like this. Now the only thing to keep in mind is if your print is directional, which this one is not, you want to make sure that this is the top where the seam is. Other than that, just sew them together, and I've gone ahead and done that with my whole package. Now I take it back, not my whole package. The package has 42. I need 25 for an advent, and I didn't want to put the same fabric on the inside because I thought it was so cute. I wanted to use it as much as I could. And so by getting 2 packages with this, I was actually able to pull out enough little squares to get 3 advent calendars, because I only needed 75 squares, and between the 2 it comes with 84. So there's some extra ones even, and I'm going to show you how we're going to use all of this. So right now I'm just finger pressing because my iron is not hot yet. It doesn't matter which way you finger press it, because you're going to fold this in half right on top of that seam, but you want it nice and crisp. And then after you've done that, we're going to go across the top and do this the width of your foot, and all this is 1/4 of an inch, and you're going to do a top stitch. Okay, this is what our block looks like so far. Now this fabric that I'm using, this white, actually is really hard to tell the right side from the wrong side. And I don't think it matters, especially if it's this hard to tell, but because this is going to be the inside of the pocket. Obviously you want it to be pretty, but that's the only thing I would tell you about the white, is it's pretty much enclosed. But now that you're at this point, let me do a little press. Okay. So now you want to take your ruler or your whatever you got going on down here, and we need 4 inches. So we're going to fold this all together, see, like that, and we're going to fold this back so we have 4 inches from here to here. Now you can cut this piece a little smaller because you're going to fold it back and have some on the back, and we're going to do a top stitch, and this is just kind of loose. But then when it gets absorbed into the seam, you're going to take 1/4 of that in, and there's very, very little, and this is not something you're going to wash, and if it is, it will still hold up. So I'm not too worried about that, but you could maybe take off a 1/2 inch off of that. So let's just make sure I've got that right and do it on both sides. Yep. And now that I've got that there, I'm going to do a press again. So we've got our press all the way through. Now we're going to take the top stitch, go right on the very, very edge of this, so you almost don't see it. Here's one that I've already done. So you see that little teeny tiny top stitch right there. Okay, so now this, our pocket is a pocket now. Okay, so we have this. Now there's several things you can choose to do at this point. I'm still trying to figure out which way I want to go. And since there are so many options, I'm going to share those with you, because the more the merrier, right? And it looks like this piece for me was not the same size as this last piece. Well, that's interesting. Let me see what I did. When I remeasured it, 1, 2, 3, 4, top to bottom, I actually, I don't know if you can see, was able to move this down a bit. You can see my old fold line, and that 1/4 of an inch made a huge difference. Or is it a 1/2? It's a 1/4. So now I actually have a lot more room at the top, just like I expected, and I can do a zipper. So now I've gone through and I pulled out this cute little print of the, I don't want this one, but of the houses, which is this print, like a scenery print. And I'm going to make all the blocks with that I have out of the 2 packs. As I'm making more of these, I noticed that I have folded this wrong. I actually have more space at the top. I think I gave it 5 inches. I'm not sure what I did, but that 1/2 inch, that's where my first press was, that 1/2 inch made a big difference on how much I have to work with up there. So I can still use zippers if I want. If you take your zipper, I know this is a weird color, but it's in here and it's so cute. See, it matches. Okay, so if you take your zipper, and this one right here, I don't know how to tell sizes of zippers, but it's 5 inches from here to here, where my teeth start and stop. And honestly, I think a 4 1/2 would work well here, but that's what I've got going on here. So just be sure, whatever you do, that if you put more than one zipper in your project, that they're all going the same direction, or it's going to just be confusing. So I'm putting this in here. I'm centering where my teeth are, right up against this. And now I'm going to go to my machine and stitch right up next to this to put that side on. Okay. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to fold this down right on top of the zipper. You see how that's just right there along the top of that? Fold it back right at where the teeth are and top stitch right here. So here's one that's all ready to be stitched together. I just got it clipped together, but this is why this extra amount is good, because you can work with it. And actually this zipper is actually pretty easy to put together. The only thing I noticed, and maybe you have a solution for it, is I had to go part way across the bottom and then turn and come from the other direction, because I could not get this all the way in my machine to do the top stitch on that. But I did it on this pocket and you wouldn't even know it. So that's a completed pocket, because when you're done, you're going to put some side pieces on. I've gone ahead and done that. And then I put a little pull tab on there, and then I still have this much that can be put into my seams. And I have a zippered pocket. Look how cute. If we had more than one, it'd be kind of sort of like this ish. Okay, so you need enough up here to go into your seam allowance. What I did after my zipper went in, I did a top stitch the width of my foot. So I have one here and I have one up here, and by doing that, this is enclosed. There's no raw edge here, but it helped to make it lay flat, and it also just gave it a more finished look because I can see the double stitching on both sides. And then I took a 2-inch strip, and we're going to put our strips between our blocks as we build our rows, and I folded it in half and then just stitched it down here on the width of the foot. Okay, so at this point our block is 5 inches again from top to bottom. When we are done, we're going to actually have a seam allowance up here. So our red color is going to be 3 3/4 by 4.5. So it's a little bit of a rectangle. If you want them to be bigger, like using the whole block, then just adjust your pocket fabric accordingly. I felt like I wanted them to be a little smaller, but you can easily make them like this. You still need something taller than this because you have to sew this into your quilt, and you don't have anything sticking up to sew that down to. So you need a little bit of a ledge, even if it's like that much. And then think about this, you have to be able to stick your hand in it. So if it's really close to the top seam, and it's a deep pocket, even kids with the littlest hands might have a hard time getting in there. So that's how I made these. Then just arrange them however you want. Put your rows together, and remember 25 and to mark them, and you're done. So I might mix this up a little bit. I'm thinking that this will be my 25th day, just because the zipper's in there and it's cute, and I don't have enough to do the whole thing, and I don't know that I really want people tugging and pulling, especially with this white fabric, having to touch it as much. I didn't think about that. It's where it gets dirty. So I think just a couple zipper pulls throughout it, or maybe only on the 25th day is my thought on this, what I'm going to do with this. I'm done with zippers. The few that were going to get zippers have got them. So, well, so I say. I'm going to measure these side by side, and I want to see how tall we've got this. Obviously that will go on straight. But see, it doesn't take much fabric to add that zipper because you're just really looping it up over the top of that. And it's cute. And I found little coordinating pull ties. I'm really liking these. Now you want your 2-inch strips, which is what I did for this. I folded it in half, went down the side, made them all the same height as the pockets. Now these are going to be trimmed down, but I made it the same height as this pocket. Does that make sense? But then when I go side by side, we're going to have, let me just put this one on here. That would probably be a good fit. And I'll show you what my thought is on mine. And you might want a little bit bigger thing, or might not.
So,
there.
Yeah,
I broke my needle, I put it on backwards. A lot has happened since you've seen me over here. Okay, we have this right here. So that's the break between the pockets right now. Obviously I'm going to get it all trimmed up straight once I get my row figured out. So right now I'm going to add another little joint.
okay.
And I had a hard time going through the zipper. I would not encourage you to put zippers side by side, because I've got a zipper here, and if you do, make sure you have more space. I struggled. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this is 6. This goes up to the 5 mark. That's how wide I need the whole row to be. And it has a little curve in it, but that will get straightened out when I put the rows in. This is what the bottom looks like. And this is what the back looks like. Most of the seams were pressed forward. Once in a while they weren't. And when there's a zipper, it did go a different direction. You see, this one has a zipper. And because of the thickness of the zipper, I just let it go out instead of folding it back in. So, but everything else is pressed open and all the seams are sewn open. And at the zipper, there's an extra little stitch over here on in the white part. I'm going to attach 1 to 2. And my stashing strips are all the same size. My blocks have a little wiggle in them, so my rows, sometimes I have to force it, like this one. That's why these clips are awesome. Rows 1 and 2 joined. Very cute, right? Got all of our little pockets. Row 3 needs its bottom piece. I hope you can see this. This is so cute. So I've got 5 rows of 5 with a 2-inch strip between them and a 1-inch strip this way, 2-inch strip this way, and so it was doubled, which means I started out with 2 inches here and 4 inches here. And then I measured how long my row was, and in my case it was 24.5. So then I made all of these strips the exact same. And because I have some of these pockets that have zippers in them, the construction on them is a little different, and so the blocks that did not have a zipper were a little taller. So I measured this, and in my case this ended up being 5 inches, the block from top to bottom, and so I just evened up the whole row, the height, meaning cutting off all the extra stuff on the non-zipper pockets. And then I have a square, and I have this super cute, and I'm trying to decide what to do here. I do have the piece already cut out to go on the bottom. Guess what, guys? I'm done. I'm done. It's cute. It's really, really cute. I'm gonna get up on the wall so you can see the whole thing. But while I've got it here, the only thing that's left is to do the backing and the binding. And I know the fabric I'm going to use. I'm just not sure if I'm going to put batting in it, or maybe some kind of stabilizer. I have some foam stuff for bag making that might be cute. So haven't decided that, but it is all done, and I have not labeled anything. So right now it could be moved around and maybe, you know, for now it can be just like something that's just pinned on there. I don't know, but nothing's permanent yet as I'm making this. And that's the top half. This is the bottom half. And then the very bottom has this extra little row where I did a blanket stitch around these, and I had that extra little pocket that I wanted. And depending on what I end up doing with this, I have an area where I can write something. And I have the zipper pockets throughout it. They're just fun. They're going to be fun. Now, one thing I do want to point out, I am the reinforcer, so that's why you see top stitching on everything, and this is more likely going to have some tugging on it where you don't normally have blocks specifically tugged on, so that's why they are lined. I did not put stabilizer in here. This fabric was actually fairly stiff and holding its shape really well, but if you wanted to like a lightweight or medium weight stabilizer, go for it. That might be really cute. I didn't worry about squaring up my blocks to start out with, and here's a good example of it wasn't very square. It's weird how those charm packs were cut just a little off, but I just went ahead and worked with it what I had, and I'm sure that the next one that I make will come out better. So this is my goal, is to figure out what to do with the back, but right now it is usable. It is done enough to be able to use it, and I will be using this on my Advent for Christmas with all the Christmas boxings. So if you guys need more information than what I have provided here, let me know. I don't have anything written down, and at some point I might, and I apologize for that. I'm just doing good to make things. So to sit down and write a pattern and figure it out and get it uploaded is not happening now, but it maybe in the future I'll go back and do that. But just a quick recap. I used a package of charm squares, and I only used 25, and then I lined the inside with a 5x10 piece of fabric that it was turned under right here and top stitched, but then it goes down and up. So this is one big continual piece of fabric in there. And one thing I think I'll do different next time is I mixed up my fabrics a little bit. I wanted this to look like snowballs, and I did not have enough to do the whole thing, so I thought, okay, I'll just be consistent and use it all in one space, and it's okay. But I think I would rather use all one color, I don't know, or one print, or maybe mix the colors up, but that's anyway. But when it comes to the pockets, every time I came to where the top pocket is, I back stitched and went over it 3 times. So I went over it, back, and then down again on every single one. Oh, that's one I didn't. There's one I didn't. Well, those are easy to fix. I can put those back in the machine and still do that. And I actually found quite a few as I was doing this where I just got busy going and I totally forgot. But I will start up here near the seam and come down and back stitch and go up. It's real important to me to have that be reinforced because there's a 1/4 of an inch seam in there. And even though it's top stitched, there's a lot of tugging that can happen right there. I did the same thing with the zipper pockets too. There's extra stitching right here and even right here on the outer border. Just want to make sure everything, I guess that's the open one, everything works. And if you do zippers like I did, these little zipper pulls are really cute. I got them on Amazon. I'm not even sure where I got them, but here here they are, all different colors. And I was able to match the pulls to the zippers because they did not come with them. I didn't have one this color, so white it is. But just make sure you open on the same side and close so you don't have like zippers going different directions. So I'm very happy with this. But charm square, a bunch of yardage. This is a 4-inch square doubled. So once you get your squares together, just figure out after you have your 2-inch strip right here, which is folded in half to be a 1-inch strip, and then you've got your seam allowances. So that's why you don't see much in there, and they're not even. I'm still working on little spaces, and my squares weren't square to start out with. But anyway, once you get your block and your little sashing strip between it and you've made a row from here to here, measure that and then make all your sashing pieces between the rows and the top and bottom to be that size. In my case it was 24.5. And then I added this to it because I had a panel that had some extra pieces, and this actually was a block that I had cut up. So I used 26 blocks technically. And then I did the same thing, but to make this all fit, I had to kind of manipulate it a little bit, but I just added, basically it's like another row And then I have this extra pocket here because for some reason I really want an extra pocket. So let's just pretend, by the way, this is the line cup of chair. Let's just pretend there's our day. We pull it out of here. We're like, oh, that's sweet. So instead of putting it back in there, you can stick it here. If it's something small like a tag like that, or it can go there until mom comes through and cleans them up. You know, it might not hold the whole month, but it's just a holding spot. I just wanted something like that. Now I also had this bigger pocket. I was not happy with how this turned out, so I didn't end up using it. This is from the panel, and this big pocket is really cute, and it doesn't even have to be used as a pocket, but I felt like I was not going to make it work on here because this was big enough as it was. And by the way, my length dimension is 36, so 36 by, I think we're 28. Let's see. 36 by 27 is my finished size, and there will be binding on here, but right now I've got everything doubled over, so it's mostly finished off except for these funny little corners in the back, but it's good enough to get by until I figure out how to finish it. All right, so anyway, that's a pretty good size advent calendar, and it was going to be gigantic if I would have incorporated that pocket. So I'm half tempted once I get the back on there and figure out how I'm doing the back, because I know what I'm using, but maybe putting this pocket on the back side. And it can be like the catch-all for everything that comes out of here, but it's tucked behind. I don't know. The fact that this fabric line had a panel, they had these, is why I even was playing with it. Don't even worry about it unless you like that idea too. All right, if you have any input, any comments, let me know. I know it's kind of late to start an Advent, but I think if you can give yourself, you know, several hours, that you'll be fine. And I wouldn't worry about the zippers. If you want to do the zippers, they're fine and they're really fun, but they take more time, they take more fabric, and I broke several needles. And I even messed up my machine and had to switch my machines out because that machine did not like what was going on. So it just came out of the shop and it's going back in. So zippers, especially if you're in a time crunch, don't even worry about the zippers, but I think they're cute. I'm going to probably add a couple. And what I've done here is they're just kind of spontaneously in here. I only have 4, and they're just kind of strategically placed throughout. But anyway, my thought was, you know, they can come across a special thing that's in the zipper pouch, and it will be, you know, strategically placed that, you know, every so many days, you know, they'll get one. And I was hoping I could have the quilt land on this day, and I started putting the row together, and then I started thinking about, oh wow, I need to actually put some thought into where things are laying out, and I could not make the pieces look good without moving that row up here or unpicking the row. So I just moved it up here, and it's not going to end on that day. So, or I could randomly put my numbers throughout the whole calendar. It really doesn't matter how you want to do it, and since I've got a blank slate here, I can try a couple different things. Okay, I'm done. I'm very tired because I've been standing to do this project. I've also been very excited. I have to say, this was fun. This was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to use it. And then I'm going to be hopefully making some more of these. Hopefully I can get them made by the 1st of the month. So if you guys are going to be making these, I'll be there with you. I might get a couple more made for some people. This is my advent calendar, and I'm so excited. It is sure looking cute. And I just have to finish the back, but right now it's usable. I don't have anything marked on it, so I can pretty much label them how I want, even if it's just temporary. But they are all pockets. There happen to be 4 zipper pockets in there, and an extra little pocket in the bottom right where you can put extra things, like if something comes out of a pocket, like you put a piece of candy in there and there's a wrapper, that wrapper could go in that little pocket, or there's a card that tells someone that, you know, what their gift is or where to go. Put that little card in there after they've used it. I don't know, I just really wanted this extra spare pocket, and I had the cute little fabric. So I have the 25 days plus that extra little pocket, and this is good enough for me to use right now. It's not finished. That's it. Thank you so much. Have a great day.